All right, so if we don't factor in the fact that I'm in an Airbnb with one room, therefore I have a washer machine, dryer machine over here with the whole little bar stool, kitchenette area here. My studio is over here, so there's a green screen, lights, camera, so the couch is pushed into the refrigerator. Don't factor that in. I have an important message. Uh, and it has to do, of course, with none other than the GameStop epidemic or situation that happened today. And things like this are going to continue to happen. And I don't mean stocks specifically where there's just going to be more stocks that just skyrocket like they're on crack out of nowhere. What I'm saying is leading up to this time, there has been this constant push to make people aware of the transformation that is happening within our consciousness. It's our mindset. It's a paradigm shift of all the people throughout the world waking up and realizing that individually we are part of this collective and we have a lot of power in that sort of sense when we recognize that we are part of this collective. And when you see censorship happen and it stops people from gathering and communicating with one another, that's a dangerous thing because and I think that's one of the problems that the elites are kind of grappling with, because you don't want to make it that obvious that people are starting to bind together and become united on common cause and common mission. But something like GameStop, I mean, the stock market is not political. There's political implications, of course, but it's not a political thing. Everybody wants to make money. That's a universal concept. Everybody it doesn't treat anybody differently based on anything. It's the money goes in and either it goes up or it goes down. You buy low, you sell high, and hopefully you make some money. Other people end up on the losing end of that stick. The fact that we have the ability as the little guys to move a market, which typically is reserved for just the big guys. They make $1 billion transaction to invest in a company, and that shoots that stock through the roof. Now, if you were a little guy that was in at the time that happened, then good for you. You get to ride the wave. But otherwise, it's really just movement that the big guys are moving the stock market around just through their major investments because they have that much capital and that much hold and control. But we proved today, or really this past week, it was proved that the couple big guys said, well, we're going to short the market, manipulate it like they always do. The little guys said, we're going to fight back against that. And when enough people decided we're all on board, we're doing this, you saw what happened. You shot through the roof the price of GameStop, AMC happening, BlackBerry happening. This notion of only the big guys are in control and only they have the power. And the fact that, like, if anybody tries to tell you that they're the only ones that should be able to do that, if somebody tries to tell you that, you shouldn't be able, a Reddit shouldn't be able to move the market. Says who? That's individuals like you and me who are just deciding to hop on board with hype or not. I mean, that's all that the market is just hype. And it would be wrong to say that we collectively we can't have that either. Like, who's to say that Wall Street Bets, the meme account on Reddit, who's to say that that's not just a hedge fund? That's just like a big guy that's moving the market. It's the same thing, except it's made up of the collective. It's made up of the yous and me's and just the average normal person who's trying to get by, right? And I think it's scary to the elites. I mean, the feds, are looking, how do we address the situation? It's being moved in ways that they didn't anticipate and they didn't predict it. And now they're caught flat-footed thinking like, well, wait a second. Now the individual people are realizing that they have the power to move the market when they decide to. That's scary because it's now suddenly they're relinquishing the control that they have had for the entire course of human civilization, essentially. But people are waking up to realize that we do have that power. And it's not that difficult for everybody to get on the same page and accomplish something. And so when I say I think there's going to be other events like that happen, the stock market is one example that everybody can relate to. Everybody can relate to investing, stocks, finance, money, because it's just money doesn't see color, money doesn't see gender, money doesn't see any differences. It's just a dollar is a dollar. And I think we're going to start to see more blatantly obvious, especially if elite powers try to make a move to stop things like this from happening. If they start to suppress and censor the ability for our ability just to communicate with each other. We have this beautiful thing of social media that we're able to communicate with each other with. And I mean, if they were to shut down that Reddit thread, for example, like they did it with Discord, and if they were to shut down the Reddit thread, because they want to stop the hype from getting out there and spreading to the people, I mean, that would be a wake up, like telltale sign, like, hello, we're all on the same team here fighting against a higher up, enemy. So just, I want to make that an alert of precaution, to be aware of that potential occurrence that could happen if they decide that they don't like the fact that the people now have control. But just pay attention to the fact that this is affirming the ability for us to have this collective power as individuals when we work at something together. And this just, I mean, it could not be more symbolic. It's really what it represents. It's the symbolism of this ability to take on Goliath and make them, fear and be shaking their boots at the fact that you have millions of people who are on board, on the same page, and actually making something happen.